Lisa has also served as the Director of Strategic Initiatives for LeaderSource, who provides learning opportunities, resources, and consulting services that have impacted thousands of leaders in countries all over the world. Whew. Thanks so much for joining us here on Harvest. Okay, so Pacific Link International Services. What exactly are you guys doing?
Well, you know, we're known as PLIES. I know that's a long name, but we really partner with parents and families in China to nurture their teenagers' character, biblical worldview, life purpose, and we help, we create programs that build their competencies, life skills for success.
So you actually bring the kids to America?
So we do. We work
How
with
does that
schools
work?
in China. Yeah, we have an office in Shanghai. We have an incredible team of people who work in our office there in Shanghai. And we partner with schools there, high schools. In China, Shanghai, Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu, all over China. And then we bring them to the United States for short-term and long-term programs.
So how does this differ from the typical exchange program?
Well, we have a goal in mind.
Okay.
So for each participant, for each student that comes in our programs, we have a 5C goal in mind. It's called the Connections Model. And the first C is Christ. So we introduce them to God.
Mm-hmm.
Second C is community. We bring a relationship, a network of relationships, mentors, hosts, families, teachers, staff who come around these students, become role models for them. Character. We create programs that build integrity into all areas of life. We bring calling. The fourth C is calling, life purpose. And then competencies is the fifth C. We help them with life skills.
So when you send these, first of all, Valerie said exchange. Is it actually like a student exchange program where there's a kid from the U.S. then going to China?
Well, you know, we hope to get to that point. It's actually right now, the greatest need is for Chinese families, parents to send their teenager to the United States.
Yeah.
But we'd love to partner with schools here in the U.S., private Christian schools, independent schools, to build some school partnerships between China and the U.S. and send some American students to China.
Talk about the legality. What kind of paperwork do you have to do? I mean, in working with the Chinese government to get these kids over, you know, what kind of visa? What do you need to make this happen?
That's a great question. First of all, our executive director in Shanghai is a lawyer. And so there's a mountain of paperwork, registrations in China.
Yeah.
Even this week, I'm working on a MOU for a new partnership between a school in Shanghai and a school in the U.S. So there's a lot of paperwork.
What's more difficult, getting them out of China or bringing them into the U.S.?
Right. So I think that it's you know, they have to apply for a passport.
Yeah.
And they have to get a permission from their principal. Visas are getting easier these days, as long as we prove that they have a place to go back in China.
Yeah.
Well, talk about the young people who come to the U.S. Are they extremely different from the kids here in the U.S.? Talk about the youth from China.
Are they smarter?
Well, I don't know. Do they listen to Beyonce? Do they watch?
They're probably more interested in math, I would imagine.
Yeah.
You know, they listen to music. They've got headphones in their ears, just like we do. They're on microblogs, just like our youth are. But in 2010, we learned about some research from the Metadime group that conducted research on youth throughout China, hundreds of Chinese students. We learned that there are actually a lot of depression and loneliness among this age group, age 13 to 18. The reason why is there's this huge pressure on young people right now in China. There's that 4-2-1, right? Grandparents, 4 grandparents, 2 parents, 1 child.
Yeah.
The one-child policy in China is putting an immense amount of pressure on students right now.
To be something.
Grow. The family honor is pressure on these students.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So 41%, we learned from this research, 41% of young people in this age group have thought about committing suicide. Depression, loneliness. So we want to bring them here, and we want to bring mentors, role models, host families, teachers, staff around them. Think about their calling, their identity in life.
So how long, once you bring them here, you know, what is the program kind of like? Obviously, we've covered some of the things that you go through, but I mean, how long are they here? What does the program entail?
So we've got a few different programs. Right now, and in the studio, we have several students from China.
I was wondering what was happening here.
We see them. I wish we could get a shot of them.
Ni hao. So we have several students here on our winter camp. We have several short-term programs. We have long-term programs. Our short-term programs are the winter camp. And so they come here during their Chinese New Year Spring Festival. And they come to American high school. We do culture workshops in the morning. We take them to Chicago. We have a winter camp in Texas.
Wow.
So it's really incredible. We have summer programs. Week 1 is design. We want to teach them how to think critically, how to analyze. Come on up. This is Kay.
Okay.
Kay, what's your Chinese name?
周杨玉洁。
Hi, 你好，早上好。
早上好。
Okay, we know you're going to have to interpret because she doesn't have a mic. So what did she say?
Oh, well, she just said hello. Good morning.
Now, when you say short-term and long-term, what do you mean by that? Like 3 months long-term, couple weeks short-term?
Okay, so right now they're here for about 2.5 weeks. This is their winter holiday, their spring 春节，对不对？
春节。
春节。And this is their Chinese New Year holiday. So they are here and for 2 weeks. Then the summer we have a 3-week program. Week 1 is design. We want to help them to think creatively, design apps for iPhones. We actually put them on university campuses, top universities, Stanford, Northwestern, etc.
Yeah.
And then we take them to camp for a week. Like youth camp. They go on the ropes course. They go tubing. We have nighttime talks. That's challenge. We're helping them do things they've never done before. Last week is serve. We want them to reach out to their community, think about loving others. How do you love and serve our community? So we're going to partner with local youth groups here in the summer, and they're going to serve, do community service.
Okay, I have a question for her. What do you think of the United States?
Oh, no.
Her English is good. Her English is good.
I think it's totally different between the country where I live because maybe just
Okay, so you can start over.
There you go.
What do you think?
really different because it's the most thing I think maybe is the education I have taken here, and maybe it will, for me, it's really a free time during in the time I stay here. And
So free time. Obviously, it's not quite as rigorous as maybe what they'd be going through normally at home in China.
Yeah, I think we've all heard some of the stories of, so we're hosting 2 Chinese students, and they tell me their day is they get up at 6, they're at school by 7.
Wow. Yeah,
they don't come home till 10 at night.
That's not the American way.
And I've been taking our girls to my girls' basketball games and horse riding, and they're like, where's all the homework? Don't you have homework?
Yeah. Now, how did you get started in all this?
Oh, God has really changed the course of my life. I thought my life was in government and politics. I worked in Washington, but I went to China for the first time in 1991, and my whole life, calling and purpose, has shifted to the people of China. My heart's desire is to serve youth and families in China.
And you actually have lived abroad. You live in
Yes.
South Bend now, but you have spent some time abroad, right?
Yes, that's my home away from home.
Well, do you take students from the United States over there?
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
And let's talk about that.
Now, I found this interesting because we have our Making Healthy Choices here where we talk about supplementation and living healthy and all these things. It says in here that you use a holistic connections model, which you
Yes.
mentioned connections,
Yes.
to build leaders. What do you mean by that? You put them on pills or what?
You know, right, holistic. So a lot of times we look at learning and we think instructional. We think, let's sit our students behind desks in rows and let's teach them, right? Life is not like that. Life, we need to have a more holistic goal. So we need to incorporate life purpose. We need to incorporate our character, who we are, integrity. We need to have people around us to hold us accountable and to support us.
Yeah.
That's when we grow, right? When we have goals. And we need to think about some of the transformation. How do we transform youth?
Yeah.
You know? And we use different dynamics, experiences. It's not all instructional. It's relationships.
And how can people get involved? I mean, obviously there's a cost involved. I mean, can people sign up to almost be like a foster family for a couple of weeks, or how does that work?
Well, we would love the opportunity to get into churches and youth groups around the United States. There's got to be a paradigm shift in our churches to say, you know what, this is the mission field. This is a way that we can encourage and love Chinese youth. So that's it. I would say to American families and churches, love these Chinese youth. Bring them into your home. Share your lives with them.
And we want to say thank you so much for joining. We also want to say thanks for being a good sport, because there's quite a few standing over here.
Hi, everybody.
She was the brave one,
Carson.
the brave one to walk on over.
That's right.
To connect with Lisa, you can go to Pacific Links Students, right?
That's right.
.org, or you can go to our website, harvest-tv.com, for an easy link back to her website. Don't go anywhere. Brian Bush is coming up next. We'll be right back.
Looking for a fresh new way to start your day? Get started with The Harvest Show, a live talk show that offers a dose of inspiration, hot topics, news, and live reports from Jerusalem. Every day, Drew, Stefan, Valerie, and Chuck keep you on the cutting edge of what the Holy Spirit is doing with life-changing stories, lifestyle segments, entertainment, and more. Catch The Harvest Show weekdays on